All right, so we did the who's been eating good, but coach, now let's flip it over. Who needs to eat? Who's a team through 2 weeks you're going, man, that's just not what it should look like?
Well, I'm going to start with the Baltimore Ravens, Rodney. I think our buddy John Harbaugh needs to take the whole team to Applebee's and eat because they don't have an identity right now. They used to be a physical, pounding, run the football, beat you up on defense team, and we're not seeing that in these first 2 weeks.
Well, we see three new starters on the offensive line. We see that they missed their defensive coordinator. And to me, coach, and I said this on Sunday, I just keep thinking I don't see the same attitude. I don't see the same mentality. There's a certain arrogance about the Baltimore Ravens thinking that, hey, we got Lamar, we got all these weapons, we look good on paper, we can just show up and we'll win football games. In the National Football League, it's not like that. And I think they're getting a good wake-up call. But I think they get back on track. They need to feature Derrick Henry. It's not about making Lamar Jackson the MVP. It's about making Derrick Henry run the ball 20-plus times, wearing down the defense with those big physical offensive linemen. Then everything else is going to open up for Lamar, and then he'll be Lamar Jackson. But you can't put all the pressure on him to have to do everything, coach, when you have a 250-pound running back standing behind him.
I agree with you. And to me, going down to Dallas, that's what they're going to have to do, attack that defense. If they let Dallas just tee off and get after Lamar in the passing game, it's not going to be pretty. But you pound Big Derek up in there, make them have to defend that, get back to that, hey, we're the Ravens, we're tougher than you are. Get that attitude back, and I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, but I think the Ravens will be fine too. I think the Bengals will be fine. But the hard thing is now they have given Kansas City a nice little jump start, a nice little lead. They've beaten both these teams talking about Kansas City. Ravens are 0-2, Bengals are 0-2. So it just feels like this AFC is going to be right back through Arrowhead, doesn't it? And I know it's only 2 weeks, but that's a big head start when you start talking about the top of the AFC.
Oh, you spitting facts right there, Jack. Everything runs through Kansas City.
And when you're the Chiefs, you know everybody's shooting for you, coming after you. You had these first two games, Baltimore and Cincinnati. These are our big rivals, but now you've beaten them. You've got the tiebreakers over them. So, yes, you are definitely feeling good.
Who else needs to eat? How about the Carolina Panthers? Panthers are making a quarterback change. Do we like the move?
I'm surprised, Jack. I really am, because you had the first pick in the draft. And we know last year was a tough year, but you bring in Dave Canales, you bring in an offensive coach who's supposed to fix this. I think you've got to go more than 2 games to give him a chance. This seems like very, very fast to me. I remember coaching and coming into Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's 1996. We had a top 5 draft pick in Trent Dilfer. He didn't play his first year. His second year, he really struggled. They made a coaching change and brought me in. General Manager Rich McKay and I got together and we said the first thing we have to do, yeah, we want to win games, but we have to find out if Trent Dilfer is our quarterback for the future. I don't care how this year goes. We've got to build Trent, let him play and see what happens. He struggled. We got off to a 1-8 start, but the second half of the year, he played well. We knew he was our quarterback. The next year, we ended up going to the playoffs, started 5-0. He led us to the playoffs twice after that. So I think you have to find out about these young guys, and I'm a little bit surprised, Rodney, that they made this change this quickly.
You know, Coach, I actually think it's a good move, and I think it's a good move for Bryce because you don't want to ruin his entire confidence that he has in himself. They didn't do a great job of surrounding him with a really good offensive line. That most of the time, that's what you do with a young quarterback, and weapons. I mean, they don't have anybody. They don't have any talent. And for me, if he gets an opportunity to sit on a bench and watch a veteran go ahead of him, and he can get mental reps and he can work on getting stronger and getting bigger and stronger physically, but also growing emotionally and mentally and seeing the game from the sideline. I don't think this is such a bad deal because you don't want him to go out there and totally lose his confidence where he can't recover and he can't play with anybody if you decide to trade the kid. So I think this is a good thing for him.
I think it could have been a great thing to start his career that way. Hey, Bryce, you're going to sit there and you're going to watch like Patrick Mahomes did, like Jordan Love did. But to me, this is tough. You are the savior, the franchise guy. You go in there, you have a bad year, you have 2 bad games. Now it's almost like saying you couldn't do it for us. And I don't know how that's going to sit with him and his confidence. But I have to agree with you. Something was going wrong there because you wouldn't make this move just after 2 games if there was any light at the end of the tunnel, for sure.
Well, do you
Yeah.
think this is a move? Do you think this is a move specifically by the head coach? Or do you feel like he got pressured from the owner or upper management? Because it seems
No,
like to me, if I'm the coach, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think this is from the head coach. There's no doubt about it. I think he feels like this is going to help their team and probably going to help Bryce, as you say. He probably just didn't want to see him keep going out there and not have success.
Because I played on a team that was 1-15, coach, and it's nothing more demoralizing to seeing a quarterback or offense keep going out there and it's a turnover, it's a pick six, it's a sack fumble. And it frustrates you to the point where you despise those guys. When you look at Bryce, you will be angry at him because it creates bitterness and tension in the locker room. So for me, instead of those guys turning hating him, let him go and chill on the sideline maybe a month or so, maybe 6 weeks, whatever it takes for him to try to learn the game from the sideline and just see it from a different perspective. And I think that's going to help him because if he stays out there, the kid is lost. He's lost his confidence. He's not even really going through his progression. The first thing when he gets back there passing, he's worried about the line of scrimmage, worried about the defenders. He can't even tell if it's cover two, if it's man. It's just a mess, man. And you got to blame the organization. They've done a terrible job, and they need to get rid of some people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're trying to protect him a little bit too, and I'm sure there's probably some thinking that at 0-2 the season's not totally lost yet. Now, does anybody think Carolina's making the playoffs? No, but is there some chance that they can, just start to turn this thing in the right direction? Then maybe you put Bryce back in the lineup if you can start to get the rest of those pieces going. We'll see how it goes. It doesn't look great right now in Carolina.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.